The United States has raised new concerns about China's fast-growing military activity in space. According to senior American defense officials, China is expanding its space war capabilities at a speed that Washington finds very concerning. General Stephen Whiting, the top commander of the U.S. Space Force, says that Beijing is using space to complete what's called a kill chain. It's a step-by-step procedure to find, track and strike enemy targets. The US, China and Russia are locked in a tight race to control the next frontier of war, space. Last month, China and Russia signed a memorandum to build a nuclear plant on the moon in a bid to power a lunar station by 2036. US has also reportedly started sharing intelligence with the UK and other Five Eyes nations, including classified information on Chinese and Russian space activity. And the US is also moving forward with the Golden Dome project. It is a $175 billion plan to build a satellite network that can detect and destroy incoming missiles towards the US by 2029. Now, this Golden Dome idea was unveiled by Trump back in May. The top commander of the U.S. Space Force outlined three major areas where China is advancing quickly. According to him, the first is space-based targeting systems that can locate and follow U.S. and allied forces in the Indo-Pacific. Now, these systems, he says, will allow China to carry out long-range precision attacks far beyond its borders. According to the U.S. Space Force, by the end of 2024, China had over 500 satellites in orbit with intelligence, reconnaissance and surveillance capabilities. And of the 260 satellites China sent up just last year, more than 60 were designed for military observation. Back in February, Chinese scientists had reportedly built a satellite tracking camera so powerful that it can capture detailed images from more than 100 kilometers away. A level of detail 100 times better as compared to what can be seen with spy cameras and telescopes that use lenses. Now, the second concern, according to the U.S. Space Force commander, it is China developing anti-satellite weapons. Now, these include lasers, missiles, and even satellites designed to attack other satellites. China has also built technology to jam GPS signals and satellite communication links. China can reportedly launch missiles from Earth to take out satellites in space. And it has tested such weapons multiple times over the past 20 years. Back in March, a top U.S. Space Force commander said that China was seen conducting coordinated maneuvers with its satellites, practicing close-range satellite maneuvers, movements that look like China is training for space-based combat. The third major worry, according to the U.S. general, is China's growing ability to connect its space technology with its Army, Navy and Air Force, perhaps making China's military more accurate, deadlier, and able to reach targets farther away. In 2016, China restructured its military focus more on space, with the PLA adding a military aerospace unit, and in April 2024, China divided the branch into three, which is an aerospace force, a cyberspace army and an information space support unit. While the US still leads in the number of satellites with around 8,000 in space, both China and US reportedly have roughly the same number of military satellites, around 250 each. Top US military officials warn that the gap in space power between America and China has narrowed sharply, adding that if the US does not act fast, they fear China could soon overtake America in space warfare. In April, the head of U.S. operations for the U.S. Space Force warned that China has already mastered advanced space weapons like directed energy and radio frequency attacks that pose a major danger to U.S. operations in space. As the space race heats up, top American generals are increasingly voicing concern that America's long-time advantage beyond Earth just may be slipping away, with China all ready to fill the vacuum. The guns have gone silent and the ceasefire is holding. But beneath all this, tensions remain between Iran and the United States of America, between Iran and Israel and across West Asia. I say this because reports suggest that Washington has been quietly building up its military infrastructure in the region, preparing for any future conflict with Iran. According to the New York Times, long before the latest U.S. strikes on Iranian nuclear sites and Tehran's retaliatory missile attack, satellite images from early 2022 showed the first signs of a new American base. This base we're talking about is located about 20 miles inland from Saudi Arabia's Red Sea coast. The report says its early existence hinted at what U.S. military planners had long considered, a possible direct war with Iran. And for that, Washington needs more than just warplanes or naval power. The New York Times says that this base, known as Logistical Support Area Jenkins, is being manufactured as a major supply logistics hub, located farther from Iran than most existing American bases, which means it is less vulnerable to attack. Until last year, the base reportedly remained mostly unused. But over the past year, it is said to have been expanded rapidly. Upgrades include new ammunition storage facilities, troop housing, and even enhanced security. While it's unclear if the base was used in last week's strikes, the report says it is likely to be crucial if the U.S. enters into a full-blown war with Iran or any of its proxies in the region. Remember, the U.S. already has several bases across West Asia, from small outposts in Syria and Iraq to massive installations housing aircraft and naval ships. In 2021, the Pentagon had plans to make bases along the Red Sea in a bid to service all these installations in West Asia. According to the report, the idea was to move some U.S. military infrastructure outside Iran's missile and drone ranges. And this base could also support operations against Houthi militants in Yemen. According to military experts, most U.S. bases along the Persian Gulf are within range of short-range Iranian missiles. In fact, we saw this on Monday when Iran targeted the Al Udeid air base in Qatar. Of course, the missiles were intercepted, and so targeting bases on Saudi Arabia's west coast would require Iran to use medium-range missiles, which are less accurate and reliable, and longer flight times reportedly give U.S. defenses a better chance to intercept the incoming missiles. Not just that, it also gives troops more time to take cover. However, the report notes that LSA Jenkins base is still vulnerable to Houthi attacks from Yemen. The Yemen-based group has previously targeted American Navy ships in the Red Sea with missiles and drones. And here's how this base is growing. When constructed in 2022, it was back then just 2 paved areas with some empty bunkers. By early 2024, satellite images reportedly showed shipping containers and tents and military exercises there. It revealed a bare bones facility of dirt roads and barbed wire. But the new satellite imagery reportedly shows a major transformation. Dozens of new structures, vehicles, paved roads, and expanded ammunition storage site, as well as white boxes stacked in rows that match naval missile canister dimensions. Government contracts also reveal more than $3 million spent since early 2024 on supplies, vehicles, and tents for the base. There's more. Social media videos show that the U.S. Army logistics units are working to get the site operational. According to the report, 2 more logistical sites have been built, that's in Taif and Jeddah, that is in western Saudi Arabia. They are smaller than LSA Jenkins, mainly used for munitions and fuel storage, with some paved areas that could host living quarters and air defense systems as well. The New York Times says that the plans are underway for an even larger installation at LSA Jenkins, including additions to a nearby airport, vehicle maintenance areas, more storage and facilities for troops. Well, Donald Trump is in the headlines this week as the deadline for his trade negotiations approach. But now we take a look at an equally pressing matter that's drawing attention and scrutiny. Well, UAE-based Aqua One Foundation recently invested $100 million into Trump-affiliated crypto firm World Liberty Financial. Experts say the move is an example of how companies are aggressively courting the president and his power lobby. World Liberty Financial is no ordinary blockchain firm. The firm's ownership and revenue structure are deeply intertwined with the Trump family, which continues to hold a controlling stake. Despite claims of asset separation, now the lines between personal enrichment and public responsibility appear increasingly blurred. Aqua One's investment, which grants it major governance power in WLF, also follows a similar West Asian deal just months ago, suggesting a pattern of strategic alignment between foreign capital and Trump-connected entities. The attraction is clear. Investors are buying not just into a crypto vision, but perhaps into access, influence, and branding power with the Trump name on it. WLF's ambition to tokenize real-world assets, expand stablecoins, and build platform gains an aura of legitimacy among allies and partners. But the risks are equally apparent. Ethics experts warn that foreign funding in ventures tied to a sitting president's family opens the door to influence peddling, backdoor diplomacy, and policy-making conflicts. Trump family members remain active in WLF's operations, and the financial gains from token sales are directly tied to the business entities. As troop casualties rise, Ukraine is turning to a new strategy amid a manpower shortage, recruiting more women into its military. For the first time, a brigade in Ukraine has launched a special recruitment campaign to recruit women, hoping to fill crucial tech and combat support roles. Ukraine's 13th Kartia Brigade says it wants women to join the military in the fight against Russia. The brigade's video message that was shared across social media platforms says it is Ukraine's first ever military recruitment campaign that specifically targets women. The brigade says it invites women to join the ranks and says that they can thrive in tech-focused army roles where skills and strategy matter. That's more than physical strength. Now, the brigade was founded by volunteers in 2022 to defend against Russian offensives from the Kharkiv region. It has also been in action in Bakhmut and Soledar, among other key battle fronts. The new campaign aims to show that women are welcome and needed in roles that require technical skills and strategic thinking. These are tech jobs that the brigade invites women to fill, like, to name some, drone and ground robotic system operators, electronic warfare and intelligence specialists, intelligence surveillance target as well, acquisition and reconnaissance dispatchers, all involved in a NATO approach towards planning combat operations. The campaigners stress that they really need women in STEM, as they could make the brigade so much stronger in the fight against Russia. Around 70,000 women already serve in Ukraine's military, but many reportedly face barriers to education, career growth, and frontline positions. But some units, like Kartia, say that they are working to change the situation by upgrading their internal practices to better integrate women into units. And with this new campaign, the brigade says that it hopes to show women that they are welcome and can thrive in different positions. The campaign organizers say that it's not about filling numbers alone. It's about bringing in motivated, skilled recruits to strengthen Ukraine's defenses. Ukraine's military says this move is about quality over quantity, bringing in highly motivated recruits to strengthen its defense against Russia. Ukraine is taking all efforts to get more people to defend the country against Russia, including offering cash bonus for a year fighting as well. Ukraine has enforced a military draft for almost adult men since the war started in 2022 last year. Kiev even lowered the recruitment age from 27 to 25 to strengthen troop numbers and manpower shortage on the battlefield. Ukraine is facing a shortage of motivated fighters, with the average age of soldiers on the battlefield now around 45. Officials say that their new youth recruitment schemes are an attempt to make the military more professional and sustainable, perhaps moving away from forced mobilization, which has so far faced public mistrust. But on the front lines, some commanders say that money alone is not enough to attract young recruits. They stress that instilling the motivation to fight for friends, family, and for the future is now proving to be a challenge. Others say that while some young men are joining for financial benefits, it remains a drop in the ocean as Ukraine continues to fight Europe's deadliest conflict since World War II with no end in sight.